carb or a bad carb, but just the fact that complex carbohydrates are a lot better for you because like they last you throughout the day, they give you energy to, you know, and they're in your greens or in this or in that. Whereas a simple carbohydrate is just gives you energy really quick, like potato chips or M&Ms or licorice, something soda that just like gives you energy really quick, and then you have that crash. That's a simple carbohydrate. Whereas a complex carbohydrate gives you energy, it takes your body longer to metabolize it, so it lasts you a lot longer throughout the day, that type of thing. So there's like that huge contrast. Anything to add to that?
And then we're also going to be talking about fiber for like holistic and very brief. And so how fiber helps you absorb your carbohydrates and your sugars, and how like that can affect absorption times and stuff like that. So a lot of the kids don't really know about fiber, or they're like, oh, you know, like my bread has extra fiber, double fiber, but they don't really know why. Like, why do we have fiber, and like, why is it? So it's a great thing to explain. And for those of you that they didn't really understand my plate, try to like talk about it, since we are having carbs, you know, like when we're going to be going over fats and all these things. Try to like keep on explaining them, maybe like what don't they get about it. Did you guys like know what they didn't get about it, or you're just not familiar with it?
So we had to do a final review like before we finish. I feel like they don't really get what kind of, like how much you need to get for each food type.
Right. And it could be complicated too, because like when you say just protein or just greens, like are you talking about like lean protein as opposed to like red meat, or you're talking about whole grain? So it's also good to emphasize that when you do go over my plate, and also that's something that you're going to go over in your carb lectures and your protein lecture and your fats lecture.
Yeah, it's going to be present throughout, and also the lesson plans that we have online are pretty structured. It's a really good outline, but also they were made that it allows room for you guys to put a lot of input in your own ideas, tailor it to your class, like we said with the customization statement. So if you see that some students are struggling specifically with a certain area, i.e. my plate, really go back and emphasize and say like, hey, what did we cover last time? Who remembers? You know, that type of thing. Always have like a little review at the beginning maybe. And obviously go off the lecture like we said, but feel free to customize it and tailor it to your class. Yeah.
So you guys can either review in the beginning or and summarize at the end, and then like also go over, I don't know if you guys have been going over your food for thought papers that they sent home. So like those are the points that you guys should be hitting and that they should be knowing, and that they could then teach their parents. So if something in there they don't understand, then definitely go over it next class.
Okay, and so now for the demo that you guys are going to be doing in class. So you'll have 2 little Tupperware containers, and then you'll have 1 slice of white bread, and you'll have a slice of whole grain bread, and then you're going to have some orange juice. And so this will be after you do the whole lesson, and it'll be at the end. And then, so you'll say, okay, here we have a slice of white bread, and we have the opposing whole wheat bread. And so you'll have to talk a little snippet about fiber. And so here we're going to say, okay, the whole grain piece of bread has a lot more fiber than the slice of the white bread. And so we would expect this to have more fiber. This is what's going to last you longer. This is going to give you more energy. Tie it back into what you guys said earlier, as opposed to the white bread. And then the whole idea is, so we're going to put each one in each container, have them gather around so they can watch. And then you can even have one put in one and one put in the other, have them pour the orange juice. So you want to put some orange juice about equally into each. And so the idea behind the orange juice is that it's going to act as your stomach acid. And so your stomach acid is what breaks down the food, is what helps you process it, metabolize it. And so that's the stomach acid acting on the bread, breaking it down into your body and whatnot. So you're going to let it sit for about, I don't know, like 2-3 minutes. And so after the time's up, like go ahead and explain to them the process of the orange juice, so you let it sit. And then you're going to say, okay, 2 volunteers, or you can do it yourself depending on how you guys see fit, but kids like to be hands-on, so have them like come and talk about it. And then you're going to have them pull the bread out of each. And then the idea behind this, and it should always work, is that you're going to pull the piece of whole grain, and it's going to be mushy and soggy, but it's going to be mostly in one piece. And then you're going to pull out the white piece of bread, and it's going to fall apart. And so that goes to exemplify the fact that more fiber lasts you longer, takes longer to metabolize, white bread decomposes a lot faster because of the simple carbohydrates and it doesn't have as much fiber. And so then again, tie it back to what you said earlier and the fact that more fiber is better. More fiber gives you more energy. Not that simple carbohydrates are bad, but they just don't last you as long, and that's why we want to focus on our whole wheats and whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna dip my hand in this. See what happens. Okay, and usually you want to like have it sit a little longer, so pull it out. It's mushy. Get in there. Okay, and you have the white bread. And we see what happens.
Moment of truth. What if it doesn't break?
Alright, here's the point. No, it really is.
It's supposed to break.
It's breaking, it broke. Okay. So, or like if the kids do it, it's like, oh wow, you know, so they like it. They like that it's messy and mushy. So have that at the end, and then like we said, just tie it back to your earlier lesson on that. Yeah, that's the demo for that. Now we'll get to the physical activity at the end, which in the past kids tend to struggle with it just because of the whole conceptual idea.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, but
you
really
guys can modify it.
Yeah.
As
Just
you see fit.
Really try to like explain it well throughout your lesson so that then we can, so, and it'll have to be done outdoors, and most schools will have like the balls for you guys to do it outside. But okay, so you want 2 people, you want an outer circle and you want an inner circle. Okay, so like, oh boy. Okay, this is gonna be really small scale. Okay, this is your small circle, and then like
Everything else is your outer circle.
and then wonderful. Okay, everything else is your outer circle. So you're gonna pick 4 kids depending on how many you have. So split it up pretty evenly. So you want the complex carbohydrates in the middle of the circle, and they're going to be running around. You want the simple carbohydrates on the outside circle running around, okay? And so the idea is the kids on the outside are going to have these balls. You're going to emphasize that okay, so let me explain first. So I'm a complex carbohydrate, I'm a simple carbohydrate, so I'm going to throw the ball at the complex carbohydrates. So the idea is that simple doesn't give you energy, so it kind of like freezes you, like it doesn't allow you to have that much energy. So inside, if a complex carbohydrate gets hit by a simple one, then you're kind of like frozen and you're out. And then I believe you become a simple carbohydrate after that.
Yeah, or someone,
Or you switch. You switch with whoever got you.
Like they throw the ball to you, like you can get back in, but like
Yeah.
not if it's another simple.
So kind of like the dodgeball concept, if you catch the ball, they're out type thing, but they're not really out, but you're not out. So backtrack to the conceptual part of it. There's complex, there's simple. If a complex gets hit by a simple, their energy's kind of like absorbed or evaporated because it's a simple, they only give you bursts of energy. And everyone always wants to be like the one throwing the ball or whatever, but so that's like one version of it, and you want to emphasize waist or below. We don't want anyone getting hit in the face or anything of that sort. The schools should have the balls, and they should have like a large enough area. There should be cones in there. If not, the school should have some. On that note, if like, is there anyone else like below 3rd graders? I think someone said there's like 2nd graders. Is that true? Yeah, okay, so this might be a little bit more difficult for them, another version of it, and we really want to emphasize this one first just because, like, you know, this is what we tailored it to. One time we ran out of time and they didn't have any balls or cones in the area, so last semester they did freeze tag, which was kind of the same concept. So the simple carbohydrates were and then the complex carbohydrates were the ones running around. So if I ran over and I was a simple carbohydrate and I was it and tagged you, you froze because I just took your energy. And so now she was frozen and another complex carbohydrate had to come and tag them. And then you have them switch, right? So like the simple carbohydrates are like the ones that are taking the energy from the complex carbohydrates. So that was just kind of fun. They like to run and whatnot. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? None at all. I know that was kind of a lot and kind of complex even for us to understand, so you can imagine that it puzzles them. But just really try to explain it, emphasize primarily the contrast between the complex and the simple, which is really important when you go through the lesson so that they understand it, and so that you're not having to do all the explaining all over again. Complex in the middle, simple on the outside, waist or below, and yeah, that's mainly it. And then yeah, if like all else really fails and they can't seem to get it, then the freeze tag option is always there, but we want to try to implement this primarily. And yeah,
So we have announcements of where the balls are going to be. So Willard, you guys will pick up some balls from here and then take them with you because the school doesn't provide you with balls. And then LeCon, who's in LeCon? Are they not here? Okay. So then that's irrelevant. Longfellow should have their balls at the school, and you should ask Angela for them. Is that good? Okay. Craigmont does not have any balls to use, so then you guys can pick up balls here. And then we don't know about Oxford yet. Yeah.
Where we pick up the balls from, like, do we pick them up from the hub or like do we have to pick them up?
Okay, so all the balls that I have are here, and then did I mention your school? Willard, right. No, you're picking up balls here.
Like we take them today?
You take them today.
Oh.
All the other schools, you speak to the after-school program coordinator, and then they should have balls for you, and make sure that you're outside. So don't try to do this inside of the classroom, obviously. Anybody have any questions?
okay, has everyone attended an orientation? Who hasn't? KTV testing, anyone have not completed